Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile found...
In Mali, West Africa, live a tribe of people called the Dogon. The Dogon are believed to be of Egyptian descent, and their astronomical lore goes back thousands of years to at least 3200 BCE. According to their traditions, the star Sirius has a companion star which is invisible to the human eye. This companion star has a 50-year elliptical orbit around the visible Sirius and is extremely heavy. It also rotates on its axis. This legend might be of little interest to anybody, but the two French anthropologists, Marcel Griaule and Germain Dieterlen, who recorded it from 4 Dogon priests in the 1930s. Of little interest except that it's exactly true. How did a people who lacked any kind of astronomical devices know so much about an invisible star? The star, which scientists call Sirius B, wasn't even photographed until it was done by a large telescope in 1970. The Dogon stories explain that also. According to their oral traditions, a race of people from the Sirius system called the Nommos visited Earth thousands of years ago. The Nommos were ugly, amphibious beings that resembled mermen and mermaids. They also appear in Babylonian, Akkadian, and Sumerian myths. The Egyptian goddess Isis, who is sometimes depicted as a mermaid, is also linked with the star Sirius. The Nommos, according to the Dogon legend, lived on a planet that orbits another star in the Sirius system. They landed on Earth in a, quote, ark that made a spinning descent to the ground with a great noise and wind. It was the Nommos that gave the Dogon the knowledge about Sirius B. The legend goes on to say the Nommos also furnished the Dogons with some interesting information about our own solar system. That the planet Jupiter has 4 major moons, that Saturn has rings, and that the planets orbit the sun. These were all facts discovered by Westerners only after Galileo invented the telescope. The story of the Dogon and their legend was first brought to popular attention by Robert K.G. Temple in a book published in 1977 called The Sirius Mystery. Since writer Ian Ridpath and astronomer Carl Sagan made a reply to Temple's book suggesting that this modern knowledge about Sirius must have come from Westerners who discussed astronomy with the Dogon priests. The priests then included this new information into the older traditions. This in turn misled the anthropologists. Though far-reaching, this is a possibility, considering Sirius B's existence was suspected as early as 1844 and seen through a telescope in 1862. It doesn't, however, seem to explain a 400-year-old Dogon artifact that apparently depicts the Sirius configuration, nor the ceremonies held by the Dogon since the 13th century to celebrate the cycle of Sirius A and B. It also doesn't explain how the Dogons knew about the superdensity of Sirius B, a fact only discovered a few years before the anthropologists recorded the Dogon stories. It is also important to remember that although many parts of the Dogon legends seem to ring true, other portions are clearly mistaken. One of the Dogon's beliefs is that Sirius B occupied the place where our sun is now. Physics clearly prohibits this. Also, if the Dogon believe that Sirius B orbits Sirius A every 50 years, why do they hold their celebrations every 60 years? Sirius A is the brightest star in our sky and can be easily seen in the winter months in the northern hemisphere. Look for the constellation Orion. Orion's belt are the 3 bright stars in a row. Follow an imaginary line through the 3 stars to Sirius, which is just above the horizon. It's bluish in color. Sirius is only 8.6 light years from Earth. astronomer W. Bessel was the first to suspect that Sirius had an invisible companion when he observed that the path of the star wobbled. In the 1920s, it was determined that Sirius B, the companion of Sirius, was a white dwarf star. The pull of its gravity caused Sirius' wavy movement. White dwarfs are small, dense stars that burn dimly. Sirius B is in fact smaller than the planet Earth. 1 teaspoon of Sirius B is so dense that it weighs 5 tons. So, did alien fishmen pay a visit to ancient Earth and give the Dogon their knowledge? Or was the Dogon's culture contaminated by Western visitors? Or could the Dogons have had ancient technical or non-technical means to find this information out? Or is the whole thing just a matter of coincidence? The question may be settled as larger and more powerful telescopes take a look at the Sirius system. According to the legend, there is a third star, Sirius C, and it is around Sirius C that the home planet of the Nommos orbits. Most scientists do not consider any part of the Sirius system a prime candidate for life, though. When Temple first issued his book in the 1970s, there was no solid evidence of a Sirius C. In 1995, however, 2 French researchers, Daniel Benest and J.L. Duvant, authored an article in the prestigious Journal of Astronomy and Astrophysics with its title, "Is Sirius a Triple Star?" and suggested, based on observations of motions in the Sirius system, that there was a small third star there. They thought the star was probably of a type known as a red dwarf and only had about 0.05 the mass of Sirius B. So has the home star of the Nommos been discovered? Or is this just another strange coincidence? Hopefully, time will tell. Thank you for listening to the Shadowland radio show. If you're listening on the Blackwater Media YouTube channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. You can also listen at blackwatermedia.net and the Blackwater Media Facebook page. I'm Dr. William Lester, and I promise to see each and every one of you again on the flip side.